Perseverance. What exactly is perseverance? Continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties. The ability to fight through adversity and bounce back. A football player requires perseverance to reach greatness. We keep moving forward. A team, a city, a nation.
Let's go, all in on three. 1, 2, 3, all in. Head coach Mike Tomlin and your Pittsburgh Steelers.
And we come back stronger than ever. Here we go.
Tonight on the Mike Tomlin Show, the season kicks off tomorrow night on Sunday Night Football. Coach gives us a scouting report of the Patriots. I asked Joe Haden who's poised to have a big year for the Steelers defense, and Devin Bush gets to know Pittsburgh and its fans. All of that and so much more as the Mike Tomlin Show starts right now.
Here we go. This pass is caught, and that's a touchdown. That's the way to work. Come on. He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game. Let's go. Come get it. You know what it is.
This one is in the history books.
Here we go.
The Mike Tomlin Show is presented by 84 Lumber.
Hello and welcome to a brand new season of the Mike Tomlin Show. I'm Missy Matthews. Some off seasons feel like an eternity, and this off season was no exception. Our playoff hopes were intercepted at the hands of Ravens linebacker C.J. Mosley in a game that the Steelers weren't in and could only watch and discuss. But like the changing of the seasons, every team from top to bottom must reset, recharge, and ready themselves to climb that mountain yet again. In today's NFL, every roster sees turnover, which will not only bring in new faces, but gives bigger roles to the guys who worked for it. Let's head over to Bob Pompiani, who's with Coach Tomlin, to talk about this offseason that's led to this point.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. It's that time of the year, football in the air, and I know everyone around here is excited. And what a way to start. Steelers, Patriots, we'll get into a New England breakdown coming up with head coach Mike Tomlin, but I know you're pumped about this season, and this has been, to use your words, a cleansing and sort of a team-first attitude more than maybe what we saw last year. Let's talk more about that and what it meant to your squad.
It's just really been a good team-building atmosphere. A lot of young guys, a lot of guys that need development in areas, but that's what the time is about. And so we've been focusing a lot of our energies on that, about the individual improvement of players, their overall readiness, and the trajectory of their careers in terms of how it can help us be the team that we need to be here in 19. From that standpoint, I think we had a very productive offseason. A lot of guys that were part of the program, we saw growth and development, first in their readiness, and then in the consistency and the quality of their play. And we're also able to add some quality young men through the draft and some necessary components in free agency. I can't say enough about how solid Steven Nelson and Mark Barron have been as a couple of examples of some free agent veteran acquisitions that have been good components of the mix thus far.
Ben Roethlisberger said it's almost a renewed attitude for him for football. He got a new deal, so at age 37, I sense he's getting to the point where when you have kids and you get to that age, you probably are more reflective of things and maybe enjoy them more. Do you sense that?
Well, he's got carpools and kid pickups and things of that nature. So sometimes the drudgery associated with football is a reprieve from some of that. I know it was when my kids were the age that his kids are. But he's enjoying where he is in life. I think he's got a really good perspective on things. He's in a good place. And I think, when you're in that position, you have an opportunity to really have a really consistent level of play and do well professionally. And I think he's poised to do that.
So now Juju Smith-Schuster elevates himself to a new role. We've seen a lot of really good moments from him in training camp. Your expectations of him as he heads into the number one status at wide receiver?
I don't necessarily get into the number one status. He's really occupied the same role that he occupied last year in that he's playing the same position within our offensive system. Maybe he's going to get a few extra balls his way because of obvious circumstances. But in terms of what he's doing, what he's being asked to do, how he functions with his teammates, he's basically got the same job. he's going to draw some additional attention. He's probably going to draw some double teams and things that he didn't do situationally a year ago, but none of that is new to him in terms of his role and what he's being asked to do. His play is his play. He's going to play well.
Chris Boswell came in with sort of a got to put it up, show us what you have mentality, which I guess you guys knew that he had to after last season. You said there were pressure situations, which there were in this preseason, but he seemed to pass every test to solidify your belief in him.
He really did. We thoughtfully put him in some uncomfortable situations, both in stadium and out. And he really just didn't blink at any portion of the journey. He's earned the job that he holds. He'll have to continue to earn it like all of us. I think that's one of the things that you point out to a football team this time of year. Nobody gets an opportunity to breathe a sigh of relief. I know some of these guys, their hopes and the dreams were to make an NFL roster, and so seemingly they've done that. But the positions that they hold to be a part of this thing, that has to be earned daily, and they'll feel that throughout the journey.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk about New England Patriots first on the schedule. Jumping right into the frying pan, it should be a great weekend of sports in the NFL. We'll jump into the Patriots and what problems they pose with Mike Tomlin coming up shortly in this broadcast. Missy, back to you.
Thanks, Bob. And before the start of every season, the Steelers name their team captains. And this year, Ben Roethlisberger, Marquise Pouncey, Cam Hayward, and Rosie Nix were all voted on by their teammates to lead the black and gold. Coming up next on the Mike Tomlin Show, cornerback Joe Haden tells me about his favorite moment of his career so far.
This is just something I was finally happy I was able to make a play for the team, and especially being against New England.
On the whistle. For the 31st annual 5K Steeler Run, and what a great turnout. Beautiful day it turned out to be. Over 2,000 participants here, and the fan base that came with them to help support it made it for a wonderful day. I think that's a great thing about not only the Steeler organization, but about the fan base, and that's giving back to their communities in any aspect, in any way they can, and this is one way of being able to do it.
Veteran cornerback Joe Haden has made it clear from the moment that he arrived in Pittsburgh in 2017 that he wanted to finish his career with the Steelers. Haden and the team took one step closer to making that happen this week when he inked a new 3-year deal that will keep him with the team through the 2021 season. Now with business out of the way, it's full steam ahead towards the defending champion Patriots, a team Haden knows a thing or two about. His best game last season came against New England. He had 12 tackles, 2 passes defensed, and an interception at the most crucial point in the game to help seal a win for Pittsburgh. It was an amazing play, and if pictures are worth 1,000 words, I wanted to hear what Joe Haden had to say about this one. Joe, first things first, congratulations on the new contract.
Thank you.
Does it feel completely normal to say that you're a Pittsburgh Steeler, going back that it wasn't too long you were drafted by the Browns and played for them for so many years?
Yeah, I think after last season, I felt like I was a part of the Steelers organization. I felt like I was part of the family. Very comfortable here. My family's comfortable here now. So I think after last season, kind of felt like a Steeler.
Week 1, heading to New England. They're going to raise some banners. You know what that environment's like up there. Is that a good or bad thing that you're going into such a high-pressure situation?
I think it's a good thing. You know, no matter what happens, we got 16 games. This is just one of the 16. But I think just with the rivalry, we look forward to playing against New England. Tom Brady, great quarterback. So, you know, we know what that comes along with. So I think it's a good thing for our team to just coming out of training camp, coming out of preseason, like ready for the season, and then knowing we're going against not a division opponent, but an opponent that we always face in the playoffs or is a tough team to beat.
All right, we're talking about New England, so I have to pull this out.
Oh.
When you look at that, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
My favorite place since I've been in the NFL.
On second and goal, he's back. He taps, he waits. He's going to throw the ball to the near sideline, and it's going to be intercepted at the 5-yard line. A broken duck intercepted by Joe Haden.
It's a lot of high-pressure games. You play a lot at night. You play a lot on the big stage. Every game means something, and we were trying to make that playoff push. So this is just something I was finally happy I was able to make a play for the team, and especially being against New England.
Do you look at that often to maybe remember that moment since it was your favorite play, as you're saying?
Yes, I do. I think I posted this picture about 3 times on my Instagram, but I do really like it, and I think this is what made me more of a Steeler too.
That moment?
Yeah.
Being at Heinz Field?
Yep.
In terms of the Steelers defense, you have said it, pretty much everybody has said you guys want to play fast and you want to play physical. Now, besides adding some key players who are fast and physical, how do you go about doing that as a unit?
It starts on practice. Like we said, we've been doing fast and physical. Coach T makes us tackle all the time in training camp, so that was something that we could tell in the early preseason games. We were hitting people a lot. So just bringing that physicality, ball searching, trying to punch out the ball, and then any opportunities we have in practice that we drop picks or anytime we have a chance, we're doing push-ups, finding people. So just making sure that we know that that's something that you have to do. If
you had to pick one player on defense, not named Joe Haden, in your opinion, who is poised to have a really big year?
TJ Watt. He's just been getting better and better. His rookie season was my first year here, and I've seen nothing but professionalism. He treats the game just like a pro. He's like a grown man, so I think just his work ethic, the way that he studies tape, and just the way he goes about his business. I would think he was 8 years in, you know what I'm saying, the way he just carries himself and plays and practices. So he's just been doing the same things he's been doing, but I could just tell he's just a little more locked in and just wants to make a big difference.
Up next, the Steelers look to spoil the Patriots party tomorrow night. Bob and Coach give us a preview of the matchup. Don't go anywhere.
We do have something for the viewership area that I know will be a big hit with the upcoming NFL season kicking off this week. There are Pittsburgh Steelers fans on board the International Space Station.
The Mike Tomlin Show is presented by 84 Lumber. Are you 84 material? Visit 84lumber.com/careers to learn more.
It's certainly not the banner raising any Steelers fans want to watch tomorrow night in Foxborough as the Patriots celebrate their 6th Super Bowl, but it's the type of motivation quarterback Ben Roethlisberger is looking for to make sure he secures a banner raising at Heinz Field next year.
I think it's cool to be a part of. I mean, honestly, you go out there and you watch it, and you sit there and you try to channel it to say, okay, that needs to be us next year. So that's the way I look at it.
Now, opening in primetime against the Patriots is a tall order. Even with the retirement of Rob Gronkowski, the Patriots still have the ability to be a potent offense with depth at both wide receiver and the running back positions. Oh yeah, and they still have Tom Brady, 42-year-old Tom Brady. Bob?
All right, Missy, thanks. Pittsburgh, New England, 2 teams always in the championship conversation, getting at it this week. Coach, do you like jumping right into a game like this magnitude, this early?
I really don't care. I'm just ready to get started. I know that at the start of this thing, you better focus less on who you play and focus more on you. What it is you're doing schematically, what you're asking people to do, the division of labor is important, the establishment of roles, and the quality of execution.
Last 2 meetings between the Steelers and the Patriots, I think have gone to the Steelers. I know the Jesse James game changed that outcome, but I still think those are winning performances. But they were close, they were here. What makes the challenge of Foxborough so difficult?
Environmental things, things that come with playing on the road, crowd noise and so forth. Couple that with the fact that whenever we play there, it's always prime time. So there's a different element of crowd noise in those primetime games, how you function, how you communicate. it's challenging. And so, we'll have to respond to it. We won't warm up to that element of it. We'll know pretty quickly our levels of communication and our ability to work in a hostile environment.
Tom Brady back. It seems like he'll keep going until who knows what age. But the challenge remains the same with him, I would imagine, putting pressure. He doesn't have Gronk this year. You guys went out and got guys capable maybe of running with Gronk. He's not there. Does that change your approach with regard to their tight ends?
It really does not. He's a rhythm thrower. He keeps you off balance. He thoughtfully attacks you downfield when he chooses to, but largely he's a rhythm thrower, and that quells your rush. And so he's going to distribute the ball to a variety of people. They'll be thoughtfully non-rhythmic, if you will. They'll do things to keep you off balance. The thing that'll be different for him is in them gotta-have-it moments in the past. They've had a guy like him. They got some really good other capable men, but they will be going through a transition there.
How about their defense? They still have some playmakers. They seem to have added some more young talent to their defense. It looks like a pretty stout defense. How do you succeed in successfully going after them?
We better work to quell the new playmakers that they have up front from a pass rush standpoint. Chase, a Michigan man by way of the South Hills, has really had an outstanding preseason from an edge rush standpoint. We had a lot of respect for him in the draft. They got a really good player there.
Chase Winovich, you mentioned him. You're putting his mom and dad in a very tough spot now. They grew up as Steeler fans all throughout their life, and now here he is on that other side of it. What did make you look at him potentially as a pick? He went in the third round, so you guys had opportunity.
First of all, let me say I don't think they're conflicted at all. They're riding with who pays the bills, I'm sure. But he plays with a really high motor. He's got good hand usage for his position. He shows maturity beyond his years and some of the technical detail associated with outside linebacker play. He reminded me a lot of T.J. Watt from watching T.J. on Wisconsin tape, and I told him that. And I'm not surprised by the success he's had thus far.
All right, Mike Tomlin, all coach this week, but he's also a father, and he had an assignment this week watching his son in college football. We'll talk about that when we come back. Missy, let's go back over to you.
All right, thanks, Bob. Coming up next, there was the steel curtain, and then there was the steel curtain. Check out Kennywood's newest roller coaster.
I don't know if I'm ready for this. I'm trying to walk slow so I can get in the back, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. I should have wrote something else first. It's a lot of fun. My stomach's starting to settle now, but it took a while after. But the line should be packed out the door. It should be a good time. I suggest warming up with the Jackrabbit just to get yourself used to it. But then just to see that view and see the Monongahela and see the city, it's one of a kind.
Before rookie linebacker Devin Bush is introduced to the nation during Sunday Night Football tomorrow night, he had to be introduced to the city of Pittsburgh. So he took a tour, or maybe it was more of an indoctrination.
Hey guys, Devin Bush here in Pittsburgh right now. About to take my Pittsburgh tour. Here we go. That's crazy. One thing when you come to Pittsburgh, you gotta get you a terrible towel, so I got that for y'all boys. Came up here, love the view, and let's head downtown and check it out. Just got the Point State Park, about to check it out, see what they got to offer. Checked out Point State Park, man, got a little hungry. Heard this place Permanente, let's go check it out. Next stop, the Strip District.
Can you take a picture for me? Thank you so much. You're so
thank
nice.
you. Thank you.
You rock.
No thank you.
I didn't know you had a little tail.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Really? Oh yeah.
But on Notre Dame. Good luck, man.
Brother, man. Look, congratulations. Thank you.
Everybody,
Thank you. Hello.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
You can make a perfect sandwich. Wow. Oh, you did a perfect bite.
Oh, really good. Mm-hmm. Really good.
Well, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the Mike Tomlin Show presented by 84 Lumber. Before we say goodnight, let's get some final thoughts from the head coach.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. And Mike Tomlin, all business right now, but last week you had a chance to just sit back and be a dad. Dino's down at Maryland. They won like 79-0 though, so I was curious about when you were sitting there watching that team, what were your thoughts about watching your son, how proud you must be?
First of all, it was just really cool to watch a game in that way, like in the stands with no responsibility. It was a really cool event. I don't know how many times in my adult life I can say that I was able to do that. That was fun. I thought the halftime was really long. You know, usually my half times are spent adjusting and communicating and working. It's like it's not enough time to watch it from a spectator standpoint. I was really shocked how long the halftime was. But really, more than anything, it was great to be there and to watch him play his first snaps in college and to share that with my wife. It's really surreal, you know. Doesn't seem like very long ago I was digging him out of a car seat. So to see him playing Big Ten football is really kind of one of those surreal moments.
And it doesn't stop. It gets faster as we go along. So.
I can imagine. I know he wasn't interested in getting in the car and coming home with us, so the wheel's going to keep on turning.
All right, Mike, glad you had a good time down there. Looking forward to a wonderful weekend, and the Steelers take on the Patriots. All the best to you, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
All right, that's the Mike Tomlin Show for this week, presented by 84 Lumber. Tune in tomorrow. We have our pregame show beginning at 11:30 on KDKA TV. For Missy Matthews and Mike Tomlin, I'm Bob Pompiani, and here we go.